It's Friday. It's the 22nd of May, end of the week. Memory weekend in America, bank holiday. Monday for us over here, half term for the kids. So all you parents who are homeschooling like we are, time for a break, a well-deserved break, guys. Guys, listen, I've got a different type of a show today. It's a challenging one. It's one that my show today really is to challenge those fake news carriers. So guys, without further ado, let's get to it. I do want to start today's show, before I get to the main topic of the show, I do want to start today's show with a tribute and a reminder of those people who have passed away. I'd like to say this though, guys. If you've noticed, at my earlier shows when I've brought to you guys UK victims of COVID-19, they've been very sparse. I haven't seen a lot. I haven't seen any for quite a few weeks now, which is why I keep bringing you guys the American version. But to me, it doesn't matter whether they're Russian, Brazilians, Americans, or Brits. They are people. They belong to somebody. They are loved by somebody. They are somebody's neighbors. So it really doesn't matter where I bring it from. However, I'm saying this because I honestly would like to when I do this, remembering those who have passed away, I would like it to be all Brits. However, I do not have the access or the source to put it to you the way that I can of the US. The CNN are doing this daily. Every couple of days they're putting people up, so I'm able to bring that to you guys. So guys, let's pray for them, let's pray for their families, and let's remember some of the victims of COVID-19. Take a look.
Nearly 92,000 Americans lost to coronavirus. Donnie Nicholson Barrett served 33 years in the prosecutor's office in Essex County, New Jersey, most of them as a clerical supervisor in the Special Victims Unit. She was known as the matriarch of the office, with a big laugh, who spread unconditional love, smiles, birthday cards, and to the lucky few, nicknames. She was 58 years old. Sisters of Charity, Gabrielle Nguyen and Monica Fumo, were longtime staff and friends at St. Joan Antietam High School in Milwaukee. They died of coronavirus just one day apart earlier this week. And Annie Glenn was the widow of astronaut and Senator John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth. She died yesterday at the age of 100. Her daughter says her parents had an incredible love story, meeting at the age of 2 and never so much as dating anyone else. Now, Annie grew up with a severe stutter, which she did overcome, becoming a tireless advocate for those with communication disorders. What a life. Charlie Mahoney devoted his entire career, starting in 1982, to the University Hospital of Brooklyn, New York. Given his age and health problems, the 62-year-old critical care attending physician could have taken a backseat in the pandemic, but his family and colleagues say he was a doctor first and always, and wouldn't hear of it. Jesus Gutierrez served the Little Village neighborhood of Chicago as owner of Verella's Corner Store for more than 40 years. Known as Don Shuey, the Guadalajara native presided over a store that was a community institution as much as it was a place to buy milk and eggs. Jesus Gutierrez was 79. 23-year-old Deshaun Taylor died of coronavirus, his family says, after a Chicago hospital sent him home twice. His sister Ebony says he suffered from asthma and diabetes, but the hospital sent him home even after diagnosing him with pneumonia. Ebony calls it a tremendous loss for the family and his 4-year-old daughter. The hospital says it cannot comment because of privacy loss. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, guys. That's really sad, and I will do this at least once a week from here on in, just so the numbers that we talk on this platform, and then any news that you might listen to who might not finish the program with, that is just a reminder that each and every one of these cases are real people. So guys, let me get to the crux of today's show. Really, today's show, I'm all out to battle fake news. It's gloves off today. Okay, gloves off today, guys. What I want to start with is this. At the end of this, I'm going to ask $1 million question, or the $6 million question, whichever you like. But that's later on in the show. What I do want to talk about and how I want to start this is a very curious thing that's going on. I want to ask my UK friends and people, because each region has its own fake news, right? Have you noticed? I brought you guys the Indians yesterday. The Indians think this is a conspiracy by Muslims to kill Hindus. So that's their explanation for COVID-19. That's India. Over here in Britain, we're believing David Icke, and a lot of my friends believe in his 5G and the vaccines linked to it, and it's linked to Bill Gates. That's our rumors here. That's our real news. Remember, this guy, everyone thinks their news is real news, right? So this is my point. Stick with my point for a second. So the Indians' real news to them, those fake news carriers over there, their real news is that this is a Muslim conspiracy against Hindus. In Britain, this is a government conspiracy against the people. 5G, they locked us down so they can put the towers up. This is not a real, this isn't a real, a real virus. And also, this is an excuse to get Bill Gates' long-term plan of killing people and vaccinating people and tagging people. This is it. It's happening now. That's the UK. Then you go to the US, who are calling it a hoax. I brought you the video of Eric Trump, who's Trump's younger son. I brought you his video to remind you where their heads are. As far as they're concerned, the Democrats brought this to America, nothing else, not the Chinese, the Democrats. So it's like Boris Johnson saying that Labour invented this to hurt Boris Johnson and the Tories. So that's in America. Just to remind you, take a quick look.
And guess what? After November 3rd, coronavirus will magically all of a sudden go away and disappear, and everybody will be able to reopen. They're trying to deprive him of his greatest asset, which is the fact that the American people love him.
Welcome back. So that's Eric Trump. Then you've got the Iranians. Now in Iran, they think this came out of a US lab. They think this is from a US lab, and it came out of a US lab on purpose, not by accident. That the US produced this in a lab in America and unleashed it at Iran. So that's the fourth one. So just to recap, we've got India with the Muslims, which you saw my video yesterday. If you didn't see my video yesterday, go to the news on India, which was yesterday. So India's Muslims killing them off with it. Then the UK, the government's killing them off with it so they can put 5G and so they can help and assist Bill Gates to vaccinate them and take them all out. Then you've got who did I just talk about? Then you've got Donald and Eric Trump, their family, which I just showed you the clip of. As far as they're concerned, the opposition party invented this, and it's all a hoax. And once the election's gone, it will go. Then you've got what I just the Iranians, who think this was invented in America and unleashed on them. Take a quick look at that.
Denied there was any problem. He said the outbreak was a hoax, propaganda from Iran's enemies. Today he acknowledged it was real, but likely planted in Iran by the United States. Iranian-American Barzu Daragahi covers Iran for the British newspaper The Independent. He says the regime at first provided two explanations for the outbreak.
One is it was propaganda aimed at, besmirching Iran and China and so on. And the other is that it's some sort of bioweapon. And you hear that from, people, loonies on all sides around the world, including in Iran.
But soon there was undeniable evidence from the whole...
Welcome back. Now we got one more to add to that, which is Brazil's. Brazil calls this a hoax. Like, basically, it's the flu. Even though it's killing more people than they've ever seen in their life, even though they are digging and, preparing mass graves, to them, it's a hoax. It's just a flu. So, guys, that's just five of the theories. I'm not even going into China, okay? Let's just take those 5 theories, for example, yeah? They're on one side of the wall, yeah? Then there's a wall here. And then on the other side of that wall, you've got the truth tellers who are all saying the same thing. None of them is saying anything different. The truth tellers in Africa are saying this is COVID-19, a natural situation, an organic situation that just seem to happen. It's not the first time something like this has come out of come out of China. The truth tellers in America are saying the same as I am. The truth tellers in the UK are saying the same as I am. The truth tellers in Australia, in India, in Japan, in Iran, wherever they are, as long as they're telling the truth, guess what? All of us are on one side of this fence, while on the other side of the fence, there's all of you. So guys, my question then is, whose truth, fake truth, is the truth then? Doesn't that kind of confuse you guys? All of you that believe this and believe that, you think your fake news is the only fake news out there, right? Now, that's the worrying thing for me, because none of you ever stop to even ask yourself that for Brits, so basically, if you're all telling the truth, the Muslims in India have invented this to kill the Hindus. Truth. But the same virus, the Democrats in America invented it to mess with Trump and make him lose the election. Truth. In England, if all you idiots are right, David Icke included, and all you follow him, and all of you, my friends who believe all the crap you're believing, if you're all right, then Boris is doing this to us. He brought this in his own way, and that's why we are dying here of what Boris did. Truth. Yeah? Then we go to Iran. Iran's truth is, even though the Democrats invented it in America, Trump has then taken the advantage of what the Democrats invented to hurt him. He's taken that and he's unleashed it on Iran. Truth. Right, people? It's all true, right? Because you can't have the same story being told by different people. And I mean, like, this is all out war. This show is all out war. I'm done with the little subliminal messaging to get you to think, because it's really not helping a lot of you guys. So let's go all out now. Let's call what you're saying not fake news. Let's call it the truth. Let's call it the truth. So your truth is real. Donald Trump's truth is real. Brazil's truth is real. Sorry, I left out Brazil, didn't I? Brazil, his one's true. In his country, it's not actually COVID that people are testing correct for, because his truth is it's not COVID. It's the flu. Yeah? So let's work this out, right? You're all telling the truth, and in your own different ways. But all the people on this side of the fence, the side I'm on, saying this is COVID, this is real, this is organic, you can watch it, you can see how it's progressing, there is no fakeness about this, yeah? That's all of the rest of the world is on that side of the fence. Guess what? We're all saying one thing. So whether you're in Japan or whether you're in Turkey or whether you're in London or America, we're suffering the same situation, all of us. However, if you're on that side of the fence, depending on your truth, determines what's going on with your country. So let's see, this is where fake news is dangerous. And this is where why I love my platform, because if this platform ever grows, I know that there will be a lot of people who will be grateful for a platform like this, because I bring common sense to the game. Now, listen to this. Let's take a real case scenario, because this is a real scenario, right? People are dying. It's real, yeah? People are dying from some say COVID, because today I'm giving you guys the benefit of the doubt today. So some say it's COVID, others say it's not, others say it is but brought unleashed on them, others say it is but it's not, it's 5G that's actually doing it to us. We don't have COVID. That's what you, my friends on my platforms, that's what you guys think, yeah? So let's say you're all telling the truth, and all of us on this side who are saying the one thing, we're all saying the one thing, we're all mad and we've all been fooled and we're being deceived. So let's take a real life situation. Let's think of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Many of you, I'm sure, you know the atomic bomb. The only time a nuclear weapon or a near nuclear weapon has ever been used on planet Earth was when the US bombers, B-52 bombers, dropped first on Hiroshima, cleaned it out. Japan refused to surrender. Then they dropped a second atomic bomb on Nagasaki. Those are real situations. We saw the damage, pictures from the air. You can't deny it happened, yeah? Cool. What do you think will happen if that were to happen today, in these times? I actually made a note just so I can remember every one of them. So this is an example of if the atomic bomb was to have been dropped today, the 22nd of May, 2020, on Japan, right? By 2 US pilots, right? 2 US B-52 pilots. That's all there was. It wasn't a troop. It wasn't a tank. It was a plane, dropped it, made sure it was a few miles away. They felt the heat, even though they was miles away, they felt the heat in their cockpit when that exploded miles and miles and miles away. Yeah? That's the truth from the people who dropped it themselves. I've seen their documentary. So this is what would probably happen in today's times. And this is how stupid you're going to look now. Listen to this. The atomic bomb was dropped by one crew from one country at a certain time of the day, and there is a film of that. However, in today's crazy world, do you know what it will be? Yeah? The Russians, fake news, will be claiming that a Russian jet did it, not a US jet. So in Russia, they'll have a different story. Russians will claim, yeah, we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, yeah, and we wiped it out, we won the war. That's what will be going on in Russia, right? In Brazil, even though there was 2 American pilots in the cockpit, Brazil will be claiming that it's a US pilot and a Brazilian pilot in the cockpit, because Bolsonaro sees himself as Trump's friend, right? So if he goes to his crazy, uneducated crowd and says, oh, did you hear about the bomb in Japan? Yes, one of our Brazilian-born pilots and an American pilot carried out that mission. Hail Brazil. That's what they'll be saying in Brazil, right? Iran, do you know what they'll be saying in Iran? Iran will be saying and claiming the inefficient United States pilot was coming to blow up Iran, but thank God to Allah and praise be to Allah, the inefficient pilot mistook Japan and blew up Japan instead of blowing up Iran. Allah, praise to Allah. That's what they'll be saying in Iran. That the pilot was inefficient while he hit Japan. His intention was to blow up Iran. That's what Iranians will be saying. And they will be believing that as the truth to the matter, right? And even in America, you probably have different variations. You'll have the nutty black evangelical right probably saying that Trump, let's say Trump was the one in power because they love him, that Trump was protecting the black people and Japan was just about to launch an attack on the blacks in America, and Trump sent the bombers there to wipe them out. Hail Trump, hail Trump. Then you'll have some other people who will be saying, no, they just told you it was an atom bomb. It wasn't really an atom bomb. It was a top secret bomb that the CIA and Trump and his smart scientists put together. But don't tell no one. Just say it was an atom bomb. Now, can you imagine that that's the world we live in today? That, my friends, is the world we live in today. You see, when that happened, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, there was only one story to it. It's sad that that's how things are panning out. But that's a typical example of where our lives are today. And it's sad because you take a true situation and everybody's got their own fake news. Try telling them that it's fake news they're spreading. And I've got friends who won't even want to talk to me because I'm exposing them as dumb. I'm spreading fake news and too lazy to do the calculation. Because that's what you got to do. Do the calculation. Why do you think your fake news is real? Why is the Iranian? Why? Are you more intelligent than Iranian? Is that it? You don't think Iran has a point that this was unleashed on them in America? I showed you the clip. They're dying over there. Why is it that the UK's fake news is the real one? Why? Because what, the UK is white? Why? Because the UK is in Europe? Why? Because the UK is an island? Why? Because we're more intelligent than the rest of the world? Why is your fake news, my guys, in London, in England? Why is your fake news the real one? So that's the $6 million question, like I said at the beginning of this. The $6 million question, my friends, yeah, is whose fake news is real then? Because the same virus, it can't not be a virus in Brazil and at the same time be a virus in America that was invented by the Democrats, and then at the same time not be a virus in the UK but be 5G, yeah, that's leading to a vaccine, and at the same time be a virus in Iran, but it's a biological one in Iran. It's not the virus, it's a biological weapon released on them. I'll leave you guys to work that one out. Today is all out war on this thing because you guys are definitely not flipping growing up. Seriously, people are just not growing up. And I'm doing this really to help you, to prompt you, to get your mind ticking over, to make you understand, yeah? Because there can't be three stories to a football match, is it? If Ajax plays Man United on the 7th of February, that date isn't going to change to the 27th. No, because the truth is it was played on the 7th. You can't change that. You can't change that it was Ajax and Man United that played. You cannot change that. You can't change if Ajax wins by 3-2. You cannot change that fact. Not a billion years from now, you can't rewrite it. And this is what people are doing. They're getting people so confused that they don't even know if Ajax did play Man United on the 7th or the 11th. They don't know if the score was 3-2 to Ajax or if it was 3-2 to Man United. They're not sure if they played in Holland or if they played in Britain. That's what fake news is doing to you, my people. Now I want to show you guys a video. And this video I found accidentally yesterday. And it is so bang on, so on point with what's going on right now that I was so impressed I actually found it. Now, the reason I was so impressed is just the day before, I was talking to a few of my black mates, right? And my black mates who, right now, they hate Obama, they hate Oprah. I'm telling them, you're hating these people because you're watching right-wing press. You're getting your information in a bubble. You don't ever turn on the news because, as they say, all the news are the same. They're all liars and you can't trust any news channels. And I say to them, hold on, when people say all black people are the same, don't you say that's crazy and that's racist? So do you think all cars are the same? All newspapers are the same? All TV news channels are the same? Well, all houses are the same? And they refuse to even analyze that question when you ask them. So you move on, yeah? So during the conversation about they're hating, I'm saying to them, but they're telling me, but Obama's a sellout. What did Obama ever do for black people? Oprah's meeting with rapists and she's a child molester and all of this stuff, yeah? And then they say, who I respect is Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Marcus Garvey of Jamaica. They say that's who they respect. And I said to them, just 2 days ago, the day before I found this video yesterday, and I said to them, I've got bad news for you, my friends. The bad news I have for you is those icons that are still icons to you guys. Unfortunately, they came before fake news took a hold. And that's why they're dead. Because the same right-wing nuts who have ruined Obama's image to his own color people are the same people who couldn't do that then. And so they killed all those icons. Martin Luther King was killed. Malcolm X was killed. Muhammad Ali was locked up. Let's not forget that anyone who stood up was taken down. Anyone of color who stood up against the system was taken down. Today, they probably won't kill you, but you know what they'll do? They'll ruin your name to the gullible. And as long as our black community remains gullible and uninformed, they are the easiest demographic to fool. So then when I said to them, if these guys were alive today, Marcus Garvey, Muhammad Ali, if they were still here today, you would hate them. They were mad. They thought I was talking crap. I said, you know why you'd hate them? Because when Obama came into power, you loved it. You love the feeling of seeing someone that looks nearly like you achieving something. And then by the end of his 2 terms, you now think he's a pedophile, you think he's all sorts, but it's all in our community. Outside of our community, Obama's loved. On the world stage, Obama is loved because they're not listening to the fake news from the right wing. So if they could do that to you today, with Obama, with Oprah, who's been an icon for about 30 years. I started watching Oprah when I was in my teens. I'm now 52. If they can turn her against you just because 2 years ago it looked like her name was in the hat to run for president, and I'm telling you this information, you didn't know this, and you still can't add 2 and 2 together. If they can do that to you today with those people, I guarantee you 100% they can do that to you with those icons of the past if they were here today. They will do exactly the same. So this video was a gem because this video shows you what Fox News, the right-wing press, what they do in this country. You saw the clip of India. In India, the right-wing press calling out Muslims, making them be victimized, is what we do here. The Daily Mail does it here. Okay? The right-wing people like Nigel Farage, they do it here. Okay? Then in America, you got Fox News, you got Rush Limbaugh. Now, Rush Limbaugh, that features on this video I'm about to show you guys. Do you know that Trump gave him the highest honor that you can give to a person? So the sort of honor that you give to a John McCain, a war hero who was captured in Vietnam and escaped or was released and became a senator and done all this, you give that type of award to that sort of people. This guy has never had anything decent to say about black people. He's never had anything decent to say about women. He's never had anything decent to say about gay people. You know, he's never had anything decent to say about most minorities. If you're not white and male, you're a victim of this guy. And he's been around for years. So watch this video. And those of you who want to know what I'm talking about, this will give you a clue to how the right wing operate and what they've done to many of you. When you add what you see on this video with what I just said a while ago, whose fake news is the right one? If you think yours is true, then what about the guy in India? What, is his not true just because he's in India? The guy in Brazil, what, his ain't true just because he's in Brazil? Your one's the truth? What about Eric Trump? Eric Trump's one's not true? That the Democrats brought it? They're in America. So whose one's true then? Watch this video.
Right-wing media tore my family apart, and my father's story explains how. When I was growing up, my parents were very open-minded. They were like hippies before hippies happened. They always stuck up for people if they were made fun of for being different. My father, who passed away in 2016, was a great example for us in treating people equally. One indelible memory I have was a day trip to a New York museum. It was important to him that we had culture. We lived in New Jersey, so New York was a short bus ride. We were coming out of Port Authority and ran into a black homeless man right outside the terminal. He asked my dad for some spare change. I was scared because I'd never seen a homeless man before. My dad stopped, though, called him sir, and gave him some spare change. That taught me to respect everyone. After high school, I went to Pratt Institute. My father, who worked as an electronics engineer for the government, retired from that and got a part-time job with a long commute. He started listening to talk radio. Talk radio then was Bob Grant, the openly racist and sexist, bombastic radio host. He was called the father of conservative talk radio. He would refer to black people as savages and once called Martin Luther King a slimeball. Very slowly, my dad began to change. He became more irritable and more judgmental of others. About a year later, my dad fully retired, and then he found and fell in love with Rush Limbaugh. Limbaugh had learned a lot of tricks of the trade from Bob Grant. He appealed to the older white guy who perhaps felt shoved aside as times were changing. Soon my dad was having his 3-hour Limbaugh lunches. After he ate, he would sit with a beer and listen to Limbaugh bloviate. Limbaugh must have said what organizations to join, because soon my dad started getting lots of right-wing mail and then emails. This caused a lot of problems in the family. My dad became very opinionated and angry. Just say one thing that tripped him and he blew steam out his nose. He started forwarding us emails which were full of lies and exaggerations about President Clinton, or mostly how horrible Democrats were. I was living in New York, and when he sent emails saying that liberals hated Christmas.
Come back. Look at that. Even his own kids blocked him. At least his kids were intelligent enough to see that when the right wing, because all of that, I heard that about, yeah, liberals don't like, those on the left, Democrats, they don't like Christmas. They want to say happy holidays. They're trying to get rid of Christmas. When really the intention of saying happy holidays is to take into account people that don't celebrate Christmas, who live with us. Yeah. So it is to be accepting of everyone, inclusive of everyone. But to a right wing nut, you're denying liberals don't like Christmas. So this daughter got that and said, what the hell has happened to my father? His own kids blocked him. His own wife got out of the bed, got out of the room because of his behavior, right? This is what's happening to many of you people that are watching this. Many of you of my friends that I know personally. This is what's happening to every one of you. Now, I've said to many of you, wait till your mind clears. You approach this situation with a fogged mind. I've said it many times on here. If only you clear your mind, your vision becomes very clear. You see fake news for what it is. You see stupid claims for what they are. Obama a pedophile? Oprah a pedophile? And you're so messed up in your head, you think if some opinion guy said it with a decent looking guy in a tie, it must be true. Now watch what happens to their dad in this second part of this video.
I was living in New York, and when he sent emails saying that liberals hated Christmas, I was flabbergasted. I lived in the land of liberals, and everyone I knew loved Christmas. I had a lot of gay friends after college. When my dad first met them, he praised them, saying how cultured they were and how it was nice I was friends with them. When I heard Limbaugh bashing gay people, I asked my father if he agreed with that now, and he got angry and said, "I don't want it in my face." Wow, what happened to Dad? It was like some alien took over his body. We all begged him to stop forwarding us these emails, but he wouldn't stop. First, my brothers blocked him online, then I eventually did. It was a nightmare, and the nightmare got worse when a fellow Limbaugh fan introduced him to Fox News. My parents ended up in separate bedrooms so that my dad could watch and listen to it. My mom ate lunch on her own in the living room. It really was tough. And worst of all, my dad was miserable, angry, and paranoid. For a long while, it destroyed our family. Then my parents moved to a senior community. During the move, my dad's radio broke and he didn't fix it. Later on, he went to the hospital for a kidney stone. And while he was there, my mom unsubscribed him from right-wing emails and subscribed him to sites like Truth Out and Alternet, and he read them all. And then when they got a new TV for the kitchen and my mom programmed the remote, he didn't bother to change the channel to Fox News. One day, he told my mom, "I like Obama. I think he's a good guy." And she was like, "What?" And as time passed, his anger lifted and he became happier. My dad began to love me to visit because I would dote on him. I laughed at his corny jokes that he told over and over. He loved to be waited on, so I would get him tea. I would give him the occasional chocolate, even though he wasn't supposed to have it. Finally, in his very senior years, he was at peace. My parents shared a bedroom again, and I had my dad back.
Welcome back. Amazing, isn't it? Guys, this thing's real. When you hear me bang on about right wing, there's a reason I do that. Because I understand what damage they can do slowly, slowly, slowly. They're the only wing of politics that are happy to see neighbor fight neighbor. Let me tell you guys the real difference. Liberals, which is what they call them in America, we call ourselves center left here. Center left. So if you're Labour, you're liberal in America, which we're here, over here, we're left wing or center left, yeah? This is what the difference, the big difference is, guys, yeah? In the if you believe in that, you believe in equality, guys. You believe in, we are fair-minded people. You believe you're a fair-minded person. We believe in live and let live. We believe in not leaving people behind. We believe in extending a hand of friendship. We believe in unity. Yeah, unity. On the other side, the people who you guys believe in, the right wing, it's all about domination, guys. Separation. Confusion. Misinformation. Vote suppression, which is going on right now in America. Trump is arguing that they're letting people vote from home so they don't have to queue up in November if the virus is still there. So some states already making that calculation and sending out postal ballots. Trump is threatening to withhold their money if they do that. Why? He's scared of more people having access to vote than fewer people having access to vote. Democrats, Labour, the left, they want as many people to vote as possible. They're the ones who gave blacks the votes. They're the ones who fought for women's votes. As far as the right wing are concerned, this voting thing should be left to only the white man to vote. They would love this to be back in the 20s. Okay? So, not just that, voting denial, voter suppression, blame. They always want somebody to blame. Hate. They always want you to hate somebody. The more your family implodes and hates one another, the better for them. The more your community implodes and hate one another, better for them. Then the last one, beautiful one for them, victimization. That's the true difference between your side of that fake news and my side of telling the truth. Guys, look, at the end of the day, the £1 million question, right? The £1 million or the $6 million question, guys, is when you shut this video down, ask yourself, whose truth is the truth? Because you say it's true what you're saying. So I'm not going to say who's fake news, because that might frazzle you a little bit. I'm calling your truth fake news. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's say you're telling the truth. Now I'm confused because I'm wondering, whose truth do I believe? Help me out. Write me an email. Tell me whose truth to believe. Tell me why your truth is the real truth. If you think this is not COVID-19, you live in Brazil, tell me why you think so. If you're from America and you're supporting what they're supporting, and you think this was invented by the Democrats to hurt Donald Trump's re-election campaign, tell me why you think yours is the truth. If you're from India and your conspiracy theory says that this is definitely the Muslims that brought this here to kill us off, tell me your truth. Tell me why yours is the truth. If you're from Iran and your truth is that America launched this as a biochemical weapon, why do I need to believe you? Tell me, prove to me why your truth is the truth. And then if you're from here, all of you, my neighbors, you guys that are around me, tell me why your truth is the truth. Yours and David Icke. Why your truth is the real one I need to believe. When you guys can tell me that, any one of you on all the different truths on the other side, when you guys can tell me that, then I'll skip over when I know which truth is the real one. In the meantime, I'll stay with the normal sane people. Thank you very much. Let's go on to my last video, guys, of the day. This video is something that we've all neglected. We haven't thought about something, and this is very great because this is about space. Now, at the outbreak, when this outbreak first started, there were 3 people only that weren't on planet Earth. There were 3 human beings who come from Earth but weren't on Earth. Mind-blowing, right? They come from Earth, but they were in space. on the space station. I completely forgot, because this is something I keep up with, the space race. It's something I'm very excited about and I keep up with. And I completely forgot about them. But they came back a month ago, right? They were in space, obviously hearing about it all. They're looking down at Earth and thinking, what the gosh, that's crazy. Obviously, none of us have seen this in our lifetimes. So it was crazy enough being sat in my house, on my bed, on my sofa, or in my garden, thinking, what the hell's going on? Imagine you're up in space. Watch this video. Pretty good.
Welcome back. The coronavirus has spread across the globe, but there's one place it hasn't touched, and that is space. The International Space Station. Astronaut Jessica Meir just spent 7 months in space. Last month, she came back to a world battling the coronavirus pandemic, returning to Earth only to experience further isolation, this time from a virus. And let's bring in Jessica Meir, who joins us from the ground in Houston. Well, first of all, welcome back. What was it like returning to Earth? I mean, obviously you knew there was a pandemic, but I understand the first people you saw were wearing face masks.
Yeah, that's right. First of all, thank you so much. It is quite an interesting experience to be back here on Earth in this setting. And it was a very strange experience for us to realize that we were returning to a completely different planet from the one that we left. And it really became quite surreal for us as we watched it all unfold from the International Space Station, since we were still going about our normal day up there, our normal routine, completing our mission. Nothing was really changed, despite the fact, of course, that everything had changed completely for everyone on the world below. And to have that feeling that we were really only 3 humans that were unaffected by it at the current time, it was a little bit difficult for us to wrap our heads around.
So you were the only 3 humans out of 7.5 billion unaffected, immune in effect, because you're in space away from it all. I read that you said you feel more isolated now than when you were in space. Why is that?
It does actually feel a bit more isolating down here on Earth than it did on the space station, mostly because that is just part of our normal environment up there. We expect that in our mission, and of course it's for very good reason. The vacuum of space is completely inhospitable, so we are very isolated from everything else. But here on Earth, our society is really not built that way. As humans, we crave that human interaction, and our society is built so that we do often go out, to conduct our work, to go out for pleasure as well, to see family, to see friends, to go to restaurants and have all of that social interaction. So to not have that on Earth feels like much more of a harsh change than it would as we would expect that.
It's interesting because what you mentioned, I didn't know that being in space affects your immune system, so you have to be extra careful. How are you now? I mean, are you readjusted? Do you feel okay with the situation, or is it psychologically difficult because you really wanted to be able to connect with people after all these months away and you're not really able to do it in the way you were hoping when you first went?
Yeah, well, we've been back for about a month now. So physiologically, I actually feel almost normal again. Our immune systems, they were measuring our T cells and other parameters of our immune system. So those were back in about a week, so they weren't too worried that we would be able to at least deal with the virus in the same way that everybody else would. And now we actually have 2 hours of our reconditioning physically each day to make sure that we get our bones and muscles and our bodies and our balance and all the coordination used to dealing with gravity again. That does take a little bit of time. But now it's been a month. I feel almost completely normal. I can't run quite as fast. Running is one of the things that takes a little bit more time to come back because it is this complex movement. And that was quite interesting in the beginning. You actually could feel this sort of disconnect between your brain and the muscles in your leg as you were trying to run. It just felt so differently from the way that we would run up on the treadmill on the space station given the reduced gravity situation.
Well, I feel that without having been into space, so I kind of know what you're talking about. So let me ask you about the conversations that were happening in space, because there were only 3 of you. You were following the news. You knew what was going on Earth. What were the conversations like? Were you discussing it at all?
Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, we were going about our normal day, so it was a little bit difficult for us to process it fully since we were so still focused and immersed and busy with the tasks that we had at hand. But the ground was keeping us informed. We were, of course, speaking to family and friends, and we had news sources being piped up to us as well. So we were tracking, but it was like the stark contrast, because we would look out the window and see that the Earth looked equally as beautiful as it did before, and it was hard to believe that this chaos was ensuing down there and that everything was really grinding to a halt. But we did talk a lot about it as a crew, about what it would mean for us and for our return.
Welcome back. Well, that's the end of the week's show, guys. It's been a great week. I can tell you. Looking forward to the half term. I won't be doing a video on Monday. It's bank holiday Monday. Or I might see how I feel, but I don't think I'll do a video on Monday. I think I'll do it on working day. So I'll be back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I've got a new set to introduce to you guys. Yep, we're stepping up in world. So you'll see my new set next week. But I'm going to give you guys a little hint, a little clue at the end of this video. So guys, without further ado, love you all. Please subscribe to my channel. Please answer my questions. Please use your own sense and don't follow anybody else's. And please kill the fake news dead. But more important than all of that, please stay informed. Have a fantastic weekend, guys. And I'll see you back next week. Bye-bye.